Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is the day that I finally get to do the BikeSafe course. I've been talking about this for ages and here it is. I've signed up to the 2-day advanced course and what you're about to see is me getting a puncture on this very first day. I don't know if it's just me, but there seems to always be something happening when I'm out and about. The day started off in the classroom. We had a good 3 hours of theory, looking at different scenarios and looking at the riding system that we'd be using throughout the weekend. I'll get into that in a bit more detail throughout the video, but first, let's look at what happened with that puncture. So we were all assigned a police bike rider to observe us riding. We were going to go on a 3-hour ride into North Wales. The weather was good and I was so excited. The policeman I was with was a really nice guy and he even agreed to let me film the whole process. So right now I'm completely buzzing. Now I'd cleaned my mirrors, so I pulled over to adjust it and look at the red light flashing on the dash. The police officer noticed it as well, pointed at my rear wheel, and yep, I had a puncture. And at this point my heart sank as quick as the air was going out my tyre. Absolutely gutted. So I had a little look to see what exactly it was. Rolled the bike forward just a little bit and there it was, right in the middle of the tyre. Now luckily for me, the guy who runs the course, he saw what happened, he came over and he had a puncture repair kit on his bike. He then very kindly plugged up the tyre while I phoned round a few of the local garages to see if any of them had any tyres. And I'm pleased to say that SRT motorcycles in Birkenhead had one set left that would fit my bike. And even though it was a Saturday and they were finishing in 2 hours and had other jobs on, they agreed to squeeze the bike in and get it sorted for me. Really good service from these guys, really friendly, and I can't thank them enough for helping me out. So with fresh rubber on the front and back of the bike and my wallet being £380 lighter, we had about 1 hour left before the other riders came back to the centre for the debrief. So the instructor very kindly suggested we went out, scrubbed these tyres in, and he could have a little look at my riding. So we spent the first half of the ride coming on and off the junctions of the M53 to get some heat into those tyres, accelerating and braking. And on the way back we even got a little cheeky filter in. How good is it that in the UK we're allowed to do this? So first back to the centre, there was enough time to get a nice hot drink and some feedback from the instructor, while we waited on the other guys coming back to debrief day 1 before continuing tomorrow on day 2. Come on. You okay? All good? So after another morning in the classroom, going over the riding system at a more advanced level, I'm happy to say that I got to do the full ride this time. So that instructor over there on the Honda Blackbird, he was assigned to me. We were going to be heading off into North Wales, up to the Ponderosa Cafe for some lunch, and then back here for the debrief at the end of the day. So I'll say this now, this weekend was the first time in a long time that I've had someone behind me observing how I ride. And to pull out of that centre with a long line of riders behind me was a little unnerving. And on top of that, I had to keep a constant eye on my instructor because he was going to tell me what direction we were taking. He was going to indicate early to let me know which road that I was coming off on. I didn't actually know exactly where we were going. So having all that on your mind and trying to ride the best way possible ended up feeling very unnatural. But as the day went on, I did get used to it and started to relax. So after a short motorway stint, we got into the nice A-road sections. The roads were quite dry. I was happy about that because I was still on these new tyres. And I can share some of the feedback that I got straight away. You can see it in my riding. I'm going through my gears far too quick. I tend to be keeping the bike in far too low of a rev range, and I was advised to keep it higher at around 4,000 or 5,000 revs. First gear on this bike will go up to 80 miles an hour. Now I know the engine would be screaming at that point, but it explains why I've been struggling to keep the bike under 30 miles an hour around town, because I've been jumping from first to second and even third gear sometimes. Now I'm not too sure why we didn't use comms units to communicate. It would have made it much easier for the instructor to talk to me, give me directions and give me immediate feedback on what was happening. I would have also been able to ask questions as we went along. Instead, we pulled over every now and again to have a chat and recap on what happened on the previous section of the ride. So after some lunch in the cafe and some feedback from the instructor, it was time to go back, and you can see that that mist is really starting to come in now, and I'm hoping we don't get caught in the rain on the way back. Just before we set off, this lovely guy came over. He'd found someone's bike key sitting in the ignition of their bike, and he was walking around to find out whose it was. What a lovely guy. So throughout the weekend, we were studying the IPSCA riding system. This stands for Information, Position, Speed, Gear and Acceleration. So we're constantly gathering information from our surroundings to make the best choices moving forward. We're also giving other road users information to let them know what we're going to be doing. Positions where we place the bike for best visibility, stability and traction. We then adjust our speed to whatever potential hazard and situation is ahead of us. That then means selecting the appropriate gear to help your bike maintain optimal performance through that section. And finally, using the acceleration of your bike to make safe and efficient progress. Another key part of the system is using position 1, 2 and 3 within the lane. So 1's toward the left, 2's centre and 3's toward the right. And you're going to see the bike moving between those positions depending on what's ahead. So generally on a left hand bend like this, you would move over to position 3 to give you good line of sight through the corner. And as it bends off to the right, we're going to move over toward position 1. Now you can see I mess this corner up a little bit. I take a more traditional line through the apex, and also you can see me communicating with my instructor because he pointed out that I'm accelerating far too late into the corner and I need to be putting on the power as soon as I tip that bike into the corner. So right now everything's feeling really unnatural. I'm having to try and keep the bike in a higher gear. I'm having to think about a line that I'm not used to taking through the corners, and also applying the throttle a lot sooner than what I'm used to doing. All this while having my instructor in my mirrors the whole time. So further down the road we got to some national speed limit areas, which was nice to get the bike opened up a little bit. And you can see me practicing staying in a higher gear, maintaining position 3 round the left hand bend. But as we come round to the next corner, I get it all wrong. I go back to my old ways and I end up in position 3 at the apex of this corner. And look, oncoming car, if he'd been over toward the centre of the line as well, then that had been a little bit too close for comfort. Little shake of the head because I knew exactly what I'd done, but that's all part of the learning process. So after quite a long day riding, feeling quite tired, we came back to the centre for the final part of the classroom session. And I must say the whole weekend has been really helpful. I recommend that anyone does it. It's really good value for money and it can only improve your riding. Now I just got to practice what I learned, and next year I'm signing up for the full advanced rider course. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Let me know if you've done any of these courses before and any ones that you do recommend. I quite fancy doing a track day with some tuition to learn that advanced bike control that I'm definitely lacking. Thanks for watching. See you next time.